And this is Supervisor Richard Forster with the Supervisor's Report for our meeting of June 10th, 2014. We had a lot of changes here today. We had only, as I said earlier, only 3 supervisors present today. Supervisor Novelli on vacation, Supervisor Plaz attending a East Bay Municipal Utility District meeting on behalf of the Board of Supervisors. First item was pulled because of that. It was put on by Supervisor Plaz, but it will involve Chris Bennett with PG&E talking about their hydro generation division, their FERC license, their processes on the McCollum River and all the intricacies, and our board really wants to know if there's any way to get around that issue of mandatory releases for recreation and fish on the river when we're in the middle of a drought and people are going to need that water potentially next year if we don't have more rain. So Chris Bennett will be back with our second meeting of the month in June. Next up was Carolyn Fergulia. She gave a quick report on ACRA and their activities. Our Amador County Recreation Agency, they operate 3 parks in the county. My one question to Carolyn was, what about the Volcano Communications Park? She is a new executive director to ACRA, and I think most of that with the action with the Volcano Communications Park happened before her time with us, so she's going to find out more information on that. Also talked about the per capita contribution, and they have a little bit less money to operate because more money is going to employee salaries now, which is not bad for people getting minimum wage, but from $8 to $9, that does have a significant effect on a small budget like ACRA. Mike Bortano was in, our Ag Commissioner. Mike will be taking our early retirement program, July 15th retirement, talking about filling his position, also filling the Deputy Ag Commissioner Sealer position. The board and our CIO are not receptive to doing that. We still have about a $400,000 structural deficit. You don't close that by filling and backfilling every position that you eliminate because of our early retirement program. Now, obviously, you need an ag commissioner for the county. That position will be filled. We will not fill the deputy ag commissioner. The thought is, in order to keep getting the state money and keep that department stable, be able to get the job done, go in and try and hire an inspector, ag inspector 1 position. That person can be trained to do the jobs, and there might be a learning curve, but at least you can train them to do it the way you want to do it. There are very important things that our ag department do. We have a large grape industry in our county, and with that you need those inspections for things like the glassy wing sharpshooter. We want to keep that industry safe, as well as all the other ag industries. There's lots of pest detection. There's inspections for organic nursery seeds. Petroleum, they have to go check every pump and certify those. Junk weighmasters, and all kinds of device annual inspections. So we do want to keep that department as whole as possible. Next up, we had a discussion, albeit short, because Louis Boitano had to step down on this item and recuse himself, but the Lincoln Mine water impacts are more commonly known as the Sutter Gold Mine. We had Pat Carney in, who was managing that operation. He was very defensive, and I'm saying that not in a bad way, but very defensive of what they've done to make sure that they don't impact adjacent properties. He did say that if we're going to do anything before we hire, do a full-scale hydrological study that could cost over $100,000, that a document review is in order of the hydrological studies that have already been conducted, and that would be done obviously by an independent party. Now, one person who feels they're affected, Jean Pinotti, was in again talking about the historical information on the spring that was given to the board. She does not agree with the statements made by Sutter Gold Mine that no blasting was done prior to that September of 2012 period. So that will have to be investigated, but a lot of discussion here, not much action with only 2 supervisors. This will come back at more than likely our last meeting in June for more discussion and try to plot a direction to go to satisfy the constituents in the county. The way I look at it, if you're going to have a use permit and you put conditions on it, if you, when issues do arise, if you don't try and remedy those with the conditions in the use permit, then there's not going to be any confidence from the public at all in future use permits that are issued. So we'll take a look at that again. We had discussion on the Mule Creek State Prison expansion. The discussion specifically was on the mitigation dollars that are coming in, and this is a per bed contribution that's required by the state and by CDCR to the county. 50% of that, or $650,000, goes to the school district, $650,000 to be split between the City of Ione and County of Amador. It appeared we had a good resolution to this before the meeting started. There was Supervisor Boitano was not in agreement with the City of Ione taking more of the lion's share. So this item too will come back for more discussion at a future board meeting, and we'll try and resolve it. When it comes to money, everybody wants to fight over it. So we had discussion briefly over the state budget issues of concern for 14-15 for CSAC, California State Association of Counties, and for all counties. Right now, the conference committees working with the Assembly and the Senate budget committees are just in agreement on one thing, it looks like, and that's funding $100 million of the $900 million in the wall of debt that the governor has cited. That $100 million would just be a good faith effort to try and pay off some of that mandate debt that the state has accrued since 2004. This is all pre-2004, excuse me, that needs to be paid off. All the other issues, funding for jails, continued funding to help support AB 109, mental health dollars, all those dollars are still in flux at the state, and more discussions will take place. ACES was in with a rate request increase. The request will have to go out for a public hearing per the Prop 218 process. The board did concur with the Public Works Committee that $11,000 is warranted for a potential study, and this would be an engineering and design proposal on the Buena Vista Transfer Station improvements. These improvements are mandated because of stormwater protection laws that have gone in. So they have to do things like paving and other things to keep the stormwater on site. With that, this is just the initial study. All of that will be absorbed by the ratepayers, but in the initial study, at least, along with the other rate index adjustments, there'll be about a 4% increase for most of the areas, Area 1, 2, and 3. With that, we had a couple public hearings, but if you want to hear more on that, you can go on our county website or talk to any one of our supervisors, 223-6470. This is Supervisor Richard Forster. We'll talk to you in a couple weeks.
You're watching Amador County's local television network, TSPN.